Hey everybody, it's Lisa Lampanelli, and welcome to the latest episode of Losers with a Dream. You're welcome in advance. By the way, today we are going to be discussing saying I'm sorry. When it's right to apologize, when it's not right to apologize, and also why saying I'm sorry is sometimes not as effective as saying I was wrong, which, by the way, is very difficult, but I've had to do many times. So, if you have trouble apologizing, or if you want apologies from other people, which don't we all, sit back and enjoy the latest episode of Losers with a Mother Effing Dream. Ow! Hey, you all know what time it is. It's Lisa Lampanelli, and it's time for the Losers with the Dream featuring me and two other guys, Nick and Bo. I mean, nobody cares. I mean, I'm the star. Are you kidding me? They'd be nothing without me. Losers with the Dream. You're listening, so who's the actual loser? Now sit back and enjoy Losers with the Dream. Or don't enjoy it. Or don't even sit down. Shut up, burn calories. Okay.
Hello, welcome to the Losers with a Dream podcast. You threw me off again. Damn it.
I'm so sorry, Nick.
God, let me just fucking do it. You know how I am. I'm special needs. I have to focus and think before things.
He forgot his helmet.
By the way, have you ever actually been diagnosed with ADHD or ADD or anything?
No.
Because there's something wrong with you.
No, I haven't been dying. I don't think I've been, like my dad, he says he had a cold for all of December, but he really had COVID. So let's be real, but he didn't get tested.
So it's like you never got tested for a learning disability, but chances are you probably have one.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
There's a lot wrong with you.
I tested positive for ADD.
Yeah. I'm not focused enough to care.
I've
I like your big
tested
zit on your forehead.
been
though.
trying to get rid of it all week.
I have one on my nose, dude, so don't worry.
Oh my
it's
God.
in the corner.
We're just stressed.
Yeah, we are stressed. Okay, Nick, plug
All
our
right,
show.
first
Tell
and
everybody.
foremost, go to our iTunes, subscribe and like there. Give us a 5-star review. You could listen to us on Spotify. You could listen to us or watch us on YouTube. Then you could go to TikTok, Losers with a Dream. It's pretty good. You know, it's not great. And then you can go.
I've seen better.
Follow us. Yeah, follow us individually on Instagram. Me at Nick Scopes, him at Bo McDowell Comedy, and her at Lisa Lampanelli.
Yeah.
And most importantly,
What?
What is it?
I'm so tense.
we have no money. No, so we have a Patreon.
Yes.
For exclusive content, extra content, Q&As. You could do a Zoom with us if you want to go top tier. There's 5 different tiers of things you can do.
wanna be a
Starting at
big
$5.
shot?
Do you want to be a big shot, dude? Do you want to do a casino all weekend and be alone and ride
That's
a motorized
Bo.
scooter because you're too heavy to walk around?
Well,
Sorry.
Yeah, maybe one of the
just
Patreon
jealous.
tiers could be that they follow Bo
On
in his
tour.
pursuit of laughs and pussy on the road one weekend. That would be cool. I bet there's a bunch of guys who would really follow you and enjoy laughing at the fact
Call
that
it
you strike
casino
out.
clams.
Maybe I'll just get a...
Clams
Clams
Casino.
Casino.
We're geniuses. No.
What-
But you know what's wild about? I
hand
actually am shocked because last week we did for our patrons. We did. Do they call them patrons? I don't know. They're
Patrons.
fucking sherms who pay us.
Okay.
We
All right,
gave
we're trying
them.
to get subscribers here.
No, but we did a Zoom chat with them that I literally, I'll be honest with you, I was like, oh my God, is this going to suck? It was so goddamn much fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I think it's just because, it felt like community. It felt fun. It felt like, God, we're giving them the time of their life. But
Yeah.
actually, it was kind of fun. Don't you agree?
No, it was. It was good. And we felt very connected. And honestly, people who join that tier, they get to see the real side of us, which,
That is true.
ain't easy to
This
see.
this is showbiz us?
Yeah. I'm putting on airs here.
Oh, no, that's bad.
Air Jordans.
But no, so go to our Patreon link. It's in all our bios and all that other shit. And if you
all on
don't,
there.
you only have yourself to blame.
Honestly, you're ruining your life.
Do you want to hear
Yeah.
true confidence, though? I
Yes.
listened to this one podcast, and she is so confident because, yes, they are the #1 podcast. They won last year for #1 podcast, Glennon Doyle's. It's fantastic.
Right.
So she literally says on the podcast, and I love this. She goes, feel free to give us a 5-star review. And if you don't want to, that's okay. That's That's like so
Yeah.
cool. So why don't we?
We're not in that position.
Well,
though.
why don't we be real nonchalant? It's like
We don't need no
"Guys,
5-star review.
Yeah, we have fucking confidence. We don't need you clams to support us. Wait, we do.
We totally do.
That's all right.
Absolutely
That's all right.
do.
It's okay to need them until we don't.
Yeah, and that'll be pretty darn soon when I turn 90.
What? You skip it over 3 decades.
I know. You know we're gonna do this till the day I die.
That's true.
I got nothing else going on. What am I doing? I'm not going up to the Foxwoods and doing 20 quick ones. And by quick ones, I mean broad. Clams. Oh my God. Speaking of clams, what are we doing first today, Nick?
We are
Tell
doing
us.
our classic mental health check-in. You asked for it. We did it. Subscribe to our Patreon.
Oh my God! Don't go backwards. We're on to
I
the mental
forgot.
health check-in. Watch, I'm gonna be
Better
I'm gonna,
yet, just Venmo Bo and I.
Shut up. All you did was pay for the gas. I paid for the parking and the Uber to get
No, not
from
even
the
that.
parking
I
garage.
just meant like
Okay,
life.
I'm gonna be Nick for this portion.
Yeah, do it.
Guys, we know mental health is really important. We don't do something boring like a scale of 1
not
to 10.
boring.
No, not boring. We do something like from popular culture, maybe a celebrity, maybe a book. Oh wait, I don't read because I'm Nick and I'm dumb. But we have other. Who should go first, Lisa? Who do you think?
Who do you think?
I'm the headliner. I go last.
I go last. Okay,
Bo, you go
Bo,
first because you're large.
Okay, do
Okay.
it.
That's honestly how every single episode goes.
Yeah, sorry about that, folks.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, fuck you, man.
This week,
Yes.
this week I feel like Frank Sinatra
Why?
because I bit off more than I can chew.
That's, of course, a quote from the best-selling hit "My Way" by Frank Sinatra.
Thank you for the quotation.
Well, you never know if you'll know a goddamn thing. So go. Why? What happened? How did you bite off more than you could chew? You fat bastard?
because I have a very full schedule these
I don't
days.
feel sorry for you.
I'm not asking
I
for.
don't feel sorry for you.
Well, what do we,
I just don't.
I have a full schedule, and I have been running around. I've been burning up my gas, getting to these shows, telling these folks all about my jokes and my tits and all that.
You know who you sound like right now?
Who?
That Zach's character from the campaign.
Yes, yeah.
You sound just like him. Well, it's Google. It's worth a Google.
It's worth a Google.
Yeah,
yeah. No, it's been a lot, and at first, of course, this is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I've been so excited about. It's like, hey, man, your weekends are full. You're doing a lot of work. This is good. And then the time comes to do it.
That's right.
And then you're like, oh, this is a lot of time in the car. This is a lot of time alone with me and my thoughts. Ugh, right?
And
so,
your thoughts.
yeah, hopefully not too many of those.
I thought he was going to say in my thighs. I thought he was going to be alone with it. Yeah.
But it's good. It's a good thing, right? It's a good experience. It's the experience that I'm meant to have. And I'm
Right.
happy. I'm happy that I'm getting the work. I'm not complaining. I'm not
Are
complaining.
you happy or are you just saying it out loud to convince yourself?
No, I am happy. I love doing stand up. But
Do you think it's because you also have the day job?
yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot to manage. And so like I woke up Monday morning after 4 shows and I was like I was just beat, and I slept most of the night Monday and now I'm like revamping and tomorrow I'm going to be living in a new place for the next 4 days. So
I know.
that'll be interesting.
Welcome to the world of stand-up comedy where you're not famous enough to sell any tickets and you're featuring for somebody on TikTok. So no, I mean, it's like,
that's pretty much what it is now.
yeah, but what's great is like
I'm gonna be waiting
you
in
will
your
you
room.
will so appreciate when you actually get to quit that job.
Yeah.
Like these are the tough ones when you're like 40 hours a week plus comedy is hard.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, nobody thinks you're complaining, and it's just is a difficult schedule.
No, what a great complaint. I mean, what a great like place to be in though. You know what I mean? Like,
It would
hey,
be
we're
better
moving, we're
though
going.
if you could drink, but you can't because you're weak.
If I could drink, those weekends would be over fast.
Yeah.
Those clubs would be like, hey, we're gonna have to ask you to
That's true.
Get
That's
'em
true.
out,
It would be
yeah.
bad.
leave. Yeah.
But
Get 'em
no,
out.
so I mean, you did bite off a lot, but is there any change you could make? No, not really.
No, I'm taking care of myself as best I can. I found some secret meetings I can hit this weekend.
Good.
Which is good. And yeah, try not to eat like an asshole for 4 days. That way I'm not like, hating myself the rest of the week.
I can't wait to see when he comes in and we're just bloated.
Well, here's the thing, though. This is how it is when you're not famous yet. What's great is that they, of course, will give you tickets to the employee cafeteria.
Yes.
Now, there is nothing better at a casino than an employee cafeteria because it's all the great food that they serve to people and like the buffets and stuff, but just huge or even amounts of it. So you are going to, for the first 3 days out of this 4-day tour, binge 3 meals a day. You'll take stuff up to your room. You'll be a fat thing. So allow yourself to be a fat thing.
Yes.
Enjoy it while you can.
I will. And the shows are gonna be fun. I'm gonna have a great time. I hope so.
For the audience?
Like, why don't I? I'm gonna put on a show for y'all out there. No, it'll be fun, and I'm excited. I'm really excited. But it is a lot, and I can feel it. I'm like, wow, this is more than I'm used to. You know me, dude. Like a couple nights of doing anything, I'm like, I need to.
Yeah, I've seen Bo do like 2 10-minute sets like on a Friday and Saturday night and Sunday. He's like, man, I'm wiped, dude. And I'm like, how are we ever gonna do?
I know.
I know.
Full weekends.
But then what gets even worse is once you're going, okay, I can make 70 grand by featuring. Okay.
Yeah.
And you go, you know what? I'm going to quit that day job. Okay. Because I can live on that. You're then going to be doing these full weeks in places that you're like, what the fuck do I do here for 5 days?
Yeah.
So you'll like fly into some place like Lansing, Michigan. Right. No shade, Lansing, but what? I think that might be where the cereal place is, Kellogg's, but I could be wrong. That's another godforsaken Michigan hellhole.
Right, yeah, maybe like in Idaho.
Dude, all you do is you sit there and you go, what am I going to do? So you find your bearings. You go, okay, maybe there's a bookstore. Well, you have your secret meetings you can go to.
I know, which is the one nice thing about traveling anywhere is you can go in, you can really meet the people.
Well, I used to be thrilled that I was codependent, so I could go to Codependence Anonymous and Al-Anon when I was on the road because I was like, what else am I going to, how am I going to kill a whole day for a half hour of jokes at night?
Yeah.
And because you don't drink and you won't ever get laid again, probably, because of how you are. It's going to be a lot of time killing. So it's all going to be adjustments along the way. So this is the first of many changes.
Yeah.
So enjoy the journey, girl.
Yeah.
All right. That sounded depressing.
Yeah.
I was like,
I want to hear about you, Nicholas.
Yeah, I
I'm doing well. So I'm similar to you. I'm embracing the kind of it's a little bit of a different grind, but embracing the grind. Like we're here late night. Everyone knows I wake up early.
True.
And I've been doing it a lot. And guess what? I've been doing it and I get so, I always talk about my anxiety and how worried I get. Mm-hmm. Been doing it so much. And now I'm getting used to it. Mm-hmm. So I'm feeling kind of good. I'm doing my job. I'm not like complaining about it, whatever else, right? It's just, I'm not dead, which is exciting, right? Mm-hmm. So this week, because I get all I get all fucking nervous, whatever. This week, I feel like Mark Wahlberg from the movie, there's a scene in the movie The Departed.
Oh, God. Okay, wait. I am now putting a ban on, other than that, this is your last one. Yeah. No more Departed references from either one of you idiots.
What was our last one?
Up. They're all Leo from this. Everybody's from the fucking Departed.
Yeah,
you know
Departed,
it.
yeah.
Go back and listen.
Yeah.
No more! No more! And no more talk.
You're all broy with your show.
Yeah, I know.
With your
She's like Eddie.
Departed. It's just, I'm sick of it. You guys, it's like you watch one fucking movie.
It's
Be
a
like
good movie.
me.
It's
Watch
a
two
fantastic-
Step Brothers and the Campaign. Those are my two. Okay, go ahead.
Fine,
You're
I'll just
allowed
change
this one.
mine.
Finish.
No, go ahead. You're
No,
allowed.
I feel like
So
Ricky
weird.
Martin.
What? Because you're living La Vida Loca?
Yeah. All right, that's it.
No.
No,
Why were you
tell
like
us.
Mark Wahlberg in The Departed?
No, because there's a scene where a guy, as we know, I get mad when people don't do their jobs,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene where a guy fucks up a big thing, and the guy looks, he's the guy fucking up, and he looks at Mark Wahlberg's character, and he goes, who the fuck are you? He goes, I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy. And I was like, that's how I feel.
I know.
Just fucking do your job and do it right. because we know how anxious and nervous I get.
Yeah, who's been dropping the ball? I don't mean, obviously don't say specifics, but like, has it been work stuff or what's it been like?
No, I think I'm both those guys in a way. I feel like dropping the ball at work, and now I feel very, and with comedy too. I've been very focused on both and being like, dude, you're not gonna die if you have 2 nights a week where you don't sleep that great. Like it's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
It's okay, man. I get so in my head about I'm gonna sleep and like, what if I'll be all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I need to just, and again, it goes back to what I said last week on the podcast about like me worrying about you. Like, what's the worst that happens?
You're a little
They're all
tired?
fun. Yeah. They're all fun things. Like I'm like a little tired and I nap, and when we get in the car together, I'm like, this is great. Like, what the fuck am I?
Yeah, you'll sleep when you're at Uncle Vito's funeral home. They bury you.
The church is St. Vito's. The funeral home is Cox and Grazia.
Yeah, don't forget it either.
Sorry.
Yeah,
No,
where
but
are you
it's so
going to be
weird.
fucking buried, dude?
Yeah, in the
TGI
fucking
Fridays.
potato patch.
Yeah.
With the rest of his freaking Irish donkey relatives.
The potatoes.
Oh my God, but no, it's
Cabbage
so true.
Patch, corned beef and Cabbage Patch.
Like we get all in our freaking heads about it, and then it's not even that bad.
It's not. There's nothing. I don't know what I was so fucking worried about.
Well, because also you have this feeling of that you have to have health all the time. Like you're very into sleep and eating correctly
he
and
is.
working out. Me and Bo could give a fuck about any of those
It's true.
three
We
except
blow right
sleep.
through those
we
lights.
enjoy sleep. But it's almost like I admire that you're really into being fit and healthy. But I mean, you'll probably die before me.
For sure.
Oh,
I mean,
definitely.
Yeah. There's something about you that people want to take you out.
To dinner. Kill me.
Listen, you're gonna be fine. Okay. Just
Yeah, I'm
keep
not
doing
worried.
what
I
you're
mean,
doing.
I'm feeling good. I'm like, these are all good things.
Yeah, you can sacrifice a few nights of pizza eating and
That won't
and
happen.
going out there doing your stand-ups.
Yeah.
And your improvs.
But do you feel
Oh, yeah.
better though now that you're doing more sets and improv class and things like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Immediately.
So it's worth it.
I did one thing at improv and I was like, I want to try acting class.
Yeah, no, I want you to. I
You
think you
caught
could,
the bug.
yeah, I think you could be like the next Bobby Cannavale.
Dude, Lisa was like,
I
Lisa
know.
goes, I go,
Shoot for
because
the stars.
Lisa and I went to my buddy's house last week. We had game night, which was so fucking fun.
So fun.
So
So
fun.
sad I missed
Dude, it was great. So it was
Dude,
me,
I
Lisa.
can say honestly, you were not missed.
All right.
Well, because we brought Gay Bobby instead. So come on.
That's a better.
That's a-
yeah.
Well, what
That's
I was
a
going to
guess.
say was because
That's
I
more
know he's
personality.
acted and he acts, and I was talking to you, and I was like, ah, should I do acting? And Lisa, I love Lisa, she goes, why not? She goes, then you go to audition for some Italian guy number 3 in a fucking in a
you'll be,
show. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that'd be pretty funny. Why not?
I think it'd be God's cruel joke if, like, in 10 years from now, he's in Departed 2.
I'm one of the wops who gets killed.
Yeah. By the way, in The Departed, just to go back quickly, since we'll never mention that movie again,
It's the best movie ever.
is it a bunch of non-Italian gangsters?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
it's the Irish. It's
Oh,
Jack
well, I
Nicholson's
don't
the head
like
of the
that.
Irish mafia.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
no,
Irish,
no,
man.
no.
But there are 2 Italians
How
that get
about
killed. in it.
Departed 2? This time it's the Guineas. That's
Because there haven't been enough movies about them, huh?
no, I know.
Yeah, right.
I think we discovered last week you look a little Pakistani on the photo there.
Be terrorist number 4.
You could definitely do some terrorist work.
But
Bauer
nowadays
could be
you
coming for you.
can't because that's cultural appropriation. So you have to be cast as who you are. So you have to be Dirty Wop number 12.
dirty. I wasn't gonna say it. Never
Guinea
mind.
bastard.
Yeah,
That's what you will be in your life.
it's
Yeah,
fine
yeah.
with me, dude. I just see like I watch like scenes of like serious acting, and of course it's from The Sopranos mostly. And I'm like, oh man, they look so fucking angry. Like, how do they get there? I talked to my therapist
You're
today.
angry.
I
You
talked.
have so
You're
much
angry.
anger.
Don't
I
worry.
talked to my therapist today. I go, I was thinking about like I'm doing. She's like, oh, you're doing improv, whatever. Then I was like, yeah, maybe acting, like do serious shit, like like you get mad, and she just looks at me and goes, you could do it.
Yeah.
She goes, you got it. It's there. She goes, you have an underlying.
Oh, you do have a base level of anger. But here's the problem when you're a naturally angry person like you and I.
Yeah.
It starts off too angry. You have to sort of build and have different layers to the anger.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to take classes to like figure out how to access it correctly. So you don't just go in there hot and then they're like, take it down a notch, you little giddy bitch. 'Cause that's
No,
how
all those
directors
people
talk.
be like, oh my, ears. You're yelling too
I'm
loud.
so scared.
All
right
those people in
now.
that place. Yeah, they're. Woo.
The director walks out. We're just gonna need you to do it again.
Yeah,
But
the
please
director has
don't punch
7
him in the
masks on.
face.
He's like, okay, so we're gonna.
Oh my God.
We're like,
I'm
calm
proud
down.
of you, Nick.
Thanks, yo.
How are you doing?
Listen, today, this is going to require a lot of explanation.
Oh
Today,
no.
I am like Jamie Gertz. Do you know who Jamie Gertz is?
No.
The people over 40 listening to this podcast will. She was an actress very famous for the movie 16 Candles.
Oh, yeah.
For the show
redhead?
on TV. What?
The redhead lady?
No, that's Molly Ringwald. Shut the fuck up and
sorry,
don't interrupt me.
I'm sorry.
And also for
What a guy.
Square Pegs with Sarah Jessica Parker. She was a very known actress in the 80s. So I'll tell you why I feel like her today. Because I am in a charitable mood. And I looked up most charitable celebrities, and out of everyone, she is number one. I said, what the fucking fuck? And you know what it is? Because she don't act much anymore, I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah.
or maybe does a little play here or there, but donates huge amounts to charity. Yes, it helps. It's all her husband's money. But, I mean, I'm assuming it
He
is.
loves
He's
that,
like-
I bet.
He owns part of the Milwaukee baseball
Brewers,
team.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So in any case, even if I have that wrong, I apologize, Jamie Gertz, but you're not listening anyway. I'm feeling so charitable, and that's my way of shoehorning in a plug for a very good friend of mine because he's very kind, and I decided I'm going to be the Jamie Gertz of podcasting and give his podcast a plug. By
Gertz
the
it
way,
up, girl.
when my friend, and his name is Robert Peter Paul, which I find a hilarious name, I don't like it very much. I don't enjoy a very literal name. However, it's his real name, so he gets to keep it. Because I said, if that's what you changed as a podcaster, change it the fuck back. But it's not. His actual name is Robert Peter Paul. So anyway, he's a great guy, and we have very little in common because I hide my kindness, but he has a podcast about kindness, and it is premiering the second season, which premiering on February 7th. Please download it now and listen to the first season. Guess why? Because Lisa Lampanelli was a fucking amazing guest. And they're still getting tons of emails and comments about how great I was. Maybe that was his way of manipulating me into this plug. I don't know. But I don't care because I am Jamie Gertz, bitch. So go to Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts and download and subscribe to The Art of Kindness. Because honestly, isn't kindness just something the world needs more of?
You know what the world
Okay,
needs
you know
more
what?
of?
You
Go to our Patreon.
No, shut up!
Oh, sorry.
Listen, this kid, I got to stay in good with him, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
First of
yeah.
all, he's on the Broadway network, so this guy's got a deal. Okay, so maybe I say to him, hey, maybe we'll have some tap dancing and singing on our show we get on the
Dude,
Broadway
I'm-
network.
There we go.
That's what I
in,
think.
bro.
There we go.
So, and I also tell you, what won me over in plugging this kid was that he said, refer to me as a fellow loser. And I said, okay. He don't take himself seriously. Because you ever bump into actors? You will, Nick, when you're on the set of
Oh,
Departed 73.
there was already a
this
guy
time
in the
it's personal.
improv class. There's already a guy in the improv
Yeah.
class that I was like, okay.
Yeah, sometimes the actors take
it
themselves
easy.
too seriously.
Yeah.
This kid don't. So, like I said, while you're subscribing to our Patreon, just click over to the Art of Kindness podcast. Listen to Lisa Lampanelli's episode, which is freaking great. And listen for season 2 next week. By the way, why don't we have seasons in our podcast?
Because we just.
Because we're not
We
there
just
yet.
fucking keep going.
Yeah.
But if you
we're
do
just-
want seasons, go to our Patreon and subscribe.
Will you shut up? Seasons of love. 525,600 contols.
That's
a
what
song.
Bo's gonna fuck this weekend.
Do you know that song that I'm singing?
Right.
Rent, yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
God, I love that you guys.
Yeah.
My brother was in a play with it.
Oh God, I hate you right now. Which brother, the one who's about to die, or the other one?
They're both on their way out, but no, the one that's less likely.
Yeah, they're going soon. All right, so listen, what are we going to come back and talk about?
We are gonna talk about today. Our topic is apologies.
Ooh.
Interesting, right? Or to take a quick break
No,
right
we're
after
not. No
after
break.
you subscribe to our
No break
Patreon,
today,
and
I'm
then we're gonna
sorry.
come back and we're gonna talk about our topic: apologies.
Apologies and amends.
Bye.
welcome back to Loser with a Dream podcast. We are losers.
And we got big dreams.
I really am liking that when Bo chimes in. I think
You
it's
like that?
good. I think it's assertive. It's a good fit on you.
Yeah, it's a little tit for tat.
You're a little. I'll give you a tit for tat.
Stop.
Put your tit on my tat.
No, please. Please no.
Anyway, so we're gonna get into our topic today.
Yeah, we're discussing apologies as well as amends.
Yeah.
This is very important.
Yes.
For those of us who want to clean up our side of the street, as we top secret people say.
Oh my God. So first and foremost, we want to get into this. So, how did we come to this topic? I believe Lisa suggested it, but
She did.
your top secret program, apologizing and amends are a big part, correct?
It's true.
But kind of get into explain how we came to this and why we thought it was a good idea, et cetera, and I love you.
Yes. Well, amends is a huge part of the 12-step program, right? You have to be able to admit when you're wrong. Now, me and Lisa are going to have kind of differing opinions on this. But
She gave us a middle finger off camera.
But it's tough. Like you have to figure out like when do I apologize and like why do I apologize? And Lisa will come on and talk a little bit more about how we got here because I think it was something specific to her.
Yeah.
So she'll talk about that. But anyways, I feel and I'm kind of in the space where you got to clean up your side of the street. You know what I mean? Like I don't like living with any sort of baggage out there, any kind of like, oh, I treated you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but me and you have had conversations in the past where I've been like, dude, I'm sorry. Like listen, I think I've like pulled you to the side a few times and just been like, yeah, because I can get mean and I can get like to a point where I'm like being mean enough and mean for long enough where I go, all right, man. Like we
both. I think it happened a little while back. We both recognized we were mad at completely different things, like not even related to us.
Yeah,
I believe it was involved women.
Yes,
and the women in our lives, and then we came in and just started fucking ripping each other apart about something, and then we were like, whoa.
and for the most part, I can't. It's tough for me. Like the ideal and my ideal is that when I hurt somebody or if I do something wrong, then immediately I go to them and I say sorry.
Yeah.
Right. Or I let them know, hey, that was wrong. But for the most part, you can usually take me up to a week to realize that I'm wrong. Right. I'll give you an example of an amends that I didn't make on the spot, which I was really upset that I didn't make. I was at a meeting. I was speaking at a meeting, and you know how it goes when I speak at meetings. People kind of lose.
Everybody.
Everybody's crying. They're like, "Oh my god, what a power of example!"
Rub your titties if you love Big Pot.
What? He's like a performer, and like we're getting this for free. Crazy. And
boy.
And so I crush, just crush it. And
you crush your chair.
And this kid comes up to me after the meeting, and he's like, hey man, do you remember me? And that's always the worst.
And you were like, oh,
as an alcoholic,
damn it, yeah.
As an alcoholic,
what did I do to this fucking guy?
It's the worst. Yeah. It is as a blackout drunk. That's the worst thing you can hear.
I had sex with my mom, and then you stabbed me on the way out.
Well, no, he goes. Well, one night I was at a party in high school, and I ran into you, and we were playing beer pong. And you got upset with the way I was playing, and you punched me in the face. And I was like, oh. And I kind of looked at him. I went, oh, wow, okay. And then I deflected completely. And I was like, so, how are you doing? Like, what's been going on with you now? And
he was looking for the amends.
Yes, of course he was.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I left there. And I called my sponsor. I was like, this happened, this guy. And he goes, well, did you make amends to him? And I'm like, no. Because I'm an idiot, I so easily could have.
I mean, I get it.
But the thing was I was filled with ego, and I had just gotten inflated totally by speaking. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, no, I don't want to take a loss here and have to make amends.
You're like, dude, I'm riding a high right now.
Yeah.
I can't do the old highs I used to do.
Why are you messing with my buzz, guy? But there were a lot of amends that I made, especially like in early recovery, that were pretty tough. I never really. So the whole thing with like amends, especially through like a 12-step program, is it's really not saying sorry, right? What it is you go like if I had hurt you, what I would do is I would go,
I
listen.
wish you would. I wish you were rougher. But go ahead.
I go, Nick, I took a shit in your toilet and I left it there. And, your toilet overflowed and then, the toilet fell through because of all the water damage and it killed your mother. And I felt so bad about that.
Well, that's too late. She's been dead.
Well, yeah. We can't fix that, can we?
We can't.
But here's the thing.
Did you have a lot of corn that day? Because there's... Oh, God.
But what I'd like to say is I was wrong for what I did. And if I continue to work the program that I'm working right now, then nothing like that will ever happen ever again.
Yeah. You should work the Jenny Craig program. Ever heard of it?
But that's generally how it goes.
No, right.
And then you go and then the one thing you do at the end there is you usually go, is there anything I missed? Not my least favorite part of the amends process. Is there anything I missed? Which I hate because now it's like, what are they going to bring up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what did I miss?
Dude.
And there's always something. There's always like, well, that one time,
Are there any amends you purposely let sleeping dogs lie?
Yeah, well, there were some amends where I was
Where you're like, oof, this is going to be bad.
Yeah, well, there were some amends where I was like, telling my sponsor, I was like, yeah, I want to go make amends to this chick I used to see. He's like, what's your motive? Like, what's the plan here, buddy? You know what I mean? I'm like, no, I just thought it'd be good if
Dude, I actually meant to because again, I'm going to talk about Sopranos, but there's a scene where Christopher, he gets out of rehab. And they're talking about all the steps. He's talking about amends.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got to go apologize to all the people I wronged. And Tony goes, I wouldn't do that one if I were you. And I was like, I wanted to ask, it made me think, I want to ask Bo, are there people you just skip over? You're like, you know what?
Yeah.
This isn't, because it's a part of it and you
Yeah.
do it, but are there some, like some of the questions Lisa gave us to kind of help think of things when apologizing, like when is it right, when is it wrong, and when does it matter?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And so the whole thing that I try to go through, especially with, just saying I'm sorry in general now, is like, does it need to be said? Does it need to be said by me? Does it need to be said right now?
Yeah.
Right. And that can go for a lot of different things, not just saying sorry, right? But for the most part, things usually it comes down to, yeah, Bo, you should say something. If I'm asking myself those questions, for the most part, I know I should be probably saying something. You know what I mean? But we find our ways to kind of not do certain things, right? And the ones that I avoided, specifically, were ones that if I brought it up to them, it would do way more harm than it would help me. So then it becomes selfish, right? Like the second you apologizing is all about you, now it has nothing.
Is there any specific example you could give without outing?
No, I won't give one about myself just because I didn't have that many that were like that.
Got you. Okay.
But let's say somebody, God forbid, raped somebody.
Oof.
To go back there and to make an amends to that person is gonna do way more harm rehashing all of that than it is. You know what I mean? So it's you don't want to go out and then ruin somebody's life again or bring up trauma or possibly hurt them again. I mean, you probably shouldn't have done that in the first place, let's be honest, but
not a good move.
Yeah, but or if I stole a bunch of money, right?
Oof.
And now if I need to make amends, what I'll do is have to go to the police station and admit that I stole the money and then do my time. But if me doing 5 years for grand larceny makes my kids and my family have to live on the street,
not good.
It's probably not the best move.
There's a good example.
Right?
There we go.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So it's just there's different ways where it's okay, this is either going to hurt somebody, this could hurt me or my family. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I've known people that have gone back and done jail time for stuff that they had to do.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
God, can you imagine?
I mean, the whole thing about, I think, apologizing is trying to live completely clear of any sort of and I don't want to say negative energy or negative
Have you been
spiritual
hanging out with healers lately? Or?
You don't have any like bad like energies around you?
I know this person. She does
No.
psilocybin therapy.
Yeah, we're gonna like manifest positive outcomes. No,
Outcome is spelled with cum at the end.
I knew you were gonna find a way to make that dirty.
Yeah, dude.
Um,
This is why I try to stop myself from doing an improv.
No, but I remember. So I've made amends to people that I really didn't want to because I didn't like them. Like I really don't like my aunt and uncle. I don't care for them. They're very snooty. Like for example, like when we went over there for like July 4th, they were playing cricket. Or no, they were croquet. They were playing croquet.
Oh.
And they got their socks all hiked up and they're eating their Triscuit crackers and they're just they think they're better than me and they act like they're better than me and I don't appreciate that, right? So, but here's the thing. One time
I get that. I've found that.
yeah,
like
but
that.
here's
I
the
get
thing. One
that.
time they let me live at their house when I was like getting out of high school because they, my mom was like, "What do I do with this kid?" And they took me in. So when they went away, I threw a huge party and kind of wrecked their house. So, I got to make an amends. And I remember going and like making an amends to that uncle who I don't like this guy.
Uncle Chip.
Yep. And he put the screws to me because I'm going in my head. I go, this is an apology. I'm saying what I did was wrong, and I'm clearing up my side of the street. I'm admitting fault, right? So I say my whole thing. I go, it was wrong what I did, and he looks at me. He goes, yeah, that was a good apology. And in my head, I want to go, that wasn't no fucking apology, right? I wanted to put it back on him and go, no, that's not what that was. I'm just saying, but what am I doing then, right? So I swallowed it, and I took the hit.
Yeah.
And it was probably one of the better things I've ever done for my serenity, for my, for sobriety. It's like sometimes you got to humble yourself. And sometimes you got to humble yourself to people that you really don't want to be humble in front of. Yeah. And I think that's the spiritual component of this confession, this making amends is taking on some humility, going like, hey, I wasn't my best self and I don't want you to see me in this state of like, I'm sorry, but I have to do it.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm trying to think of, all week I was thinking of apologies that I've had to make or whatever. And I really, it truly only, there was one scenario where I wish I said something. And it was, I've talked about it a million times before on this podcast, but just my grandmother dying and like how our relationship filtered, like how it just fizzled out in the end, and how our last phone call was just such a horrible, it was an argument.
Right.
And then she dies a few days later in a car accident. And that's really the one. Like, I've been pretty good of like my whole life because I value a lot of my friendships and I have a lot of family. So it's like when it comes to friends or upsetting friends, I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, nothing could ruin my day quicker than like my friend being like, someone who's close to me be like, hey man, you really like kind of upset me. Like I will do anything to fix that. I'll apologize immediately.
Right.
But
and I know this isn't the first time this one has come up for you. I mean, we've definitely.
It haunts me in a lot of ways.
Have you ever considered? Because we've heard about this one. Have you ever considered doing a graveside amends?
I don't know. I went to her grave because all our family's graves are in basically one area. So it'd be like my mom's there, everybody. And
well, that's kind of awesome, isn't it?
It is in all, it's like one area. But it's literally like, I went there too soon is what happened. Is I went there probably 4 months after she died. Yeah. And immediately bummed me back out. And I was like, okay, that was too soon. Right. And I didn't really.
Well, maybe you weren't ready then, but I think you might be ready soon.
I think so. Now. I mean, I always and the sad part is I'm probably I'm sad. It's I think Lisa said this before about anger is just sadness, right, or something like that. I forget, just something like that.
Yeah, it's right because it's anger is a secondary emotion.
So right.
Primary
so
is always,
So like that's and I've said to my therapist, I'm like, I'm just fucking angry at how it ended, and like when I think about her, I'm just like, fuck. I get mad almost at her in a way.
Yeah, but she doesn't want you to like keep this.
No, I know.
And nobody does. Your mother doesn't. Like
no one wants.
Nobody.
I just have
in
such.
that grave plot.
I have such a. one thing I try to take from my dad is, it's no secret. We've talked about him on here multiple times, but him going bankrupt, he does not hold on to shit.
Yeah.
I give my dad all the credit in the world because he has so many excuses to
shut down,
to reminisce and be like, well, this happened to me and that happened to me. And he's not a fucking complainer at all. And he lets shit go quick.
Yeah.
And me, I hold on. Like after she died, I don't want to get into specifics in case some people listen to my family, but after she died, dealing with some family members on that side when things came to money and paying for the funeral, it was, it's been 5 years. I'm like, oh, dude. I'm like, I don't think I could see them. Like, I will lose my mind, dude.
Do you feel like your father's able to give up on some of this stuff? Or like you said, just kind of let it go? Do you think that, I know you get on him about this a lot, and it frustrates you about
God.
him. Yeah. Do you feel like it's because of his spirituality?
For sure. And I have made peace with that. It's when it gets pushed on me, or it's like when he told me, we had a conversation last March of whatever 2021. He goes, Nicholas, this helps me deal with all the loss and things I've had.
Right.
And I immediately was like, cool,
of course,
great. I just don't want to be fucking. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, but I think the problem there is that your father's looking at you and he's going, he needs to still deal with the loss too.
True.
Right.
True. Probably. Yeah.
Because I mean, it's still eating you up.
Trust me. But I'm like, oh my god, dude, I'm gonna start going to church. Like, what the you know what I mean?
No, but I think to bring it back to amends, I think for you, and Lisa will jump in here, but I think for you going there and making that graveside amends, because amends is synonymous with the word change, right?
Okay.
If you want to change, because
I never thought about it like that.
It's because that's what it is, right? Like I'm now admitting wrong and fault, and I'm accepting to be a different person. There is a line now drawn in the sand when you make an amends, right? So the opportunity for you to make that graveside amends is to say, life is going to change now. I'm going to change.
Yeah. Maybe I will. I'm going to New York quite a bit this week, so
Yeah.
I'm going to be driving by that thing. So
All right.
maybe I'll do it. All right.
Let's bring Lisa on.
Yes, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with our head clam in charge, life coach.
HCIC.
I'm going to bring back culottes wearing. Haven't seen him in a while, but I love that word and those pants so much. Lisa Lampanelli. We'll be right back. Hello, welcome back to Loser the Dream podcast. We are losers.
And we have big dreams.
No, we don't. We should stop saying
Turn her
that.
mic off again.
Get her out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, segment 2 is always better without me. I'm like, so what were you guys talking about?
We were talking about amends.
Oh my
and
God, I
saying
left the
sorry.
And a
room and didn't
women's.
care. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, did that hurt your feelings? I'm sorry.
Lisa was playing Candy Crush off.
Oh my God, I don't
off
play Candy
screen.
Crush. I play something else. A word game, so I don't get
Ooh,
Alzheimer's.
I like words. I know how to spell and
Oh, sorry, I don't want to get dementia. Like you're all
Too late.
Like you're all drunken granny. Oh, sorry.
A dead
You know
slab.
what, you know what you have to apologize to your grandmother for?
What?
For being a ne'er-do-well who talks about the departed too much.
Ne'er-do-well.
I know you love that word. That's why I threw it.
Yeah,
But I
I
do
like
love
that.
this subject. And the way we came across it was, I forget what it was. I was thinking a lot about, a couple weeks ago, about all the people. Because when you sort of relax more or take more time off and you're not working and hustling as much, things start to haunt you. And you're like, oh my God, I really, I feel bad about what transpired with me and that person or whatever. And I was listening to this podcast about apologies, and I like what they really came to was, you know what? The best way of apologizing, and again, I don't disagree with amends and all that, that 12-step crap. No, I don't disagree, but because it's an important step for you.
Right.
But what's most important for them? So I think for them, the most important thing is sometimes not saying anything, and just the best way to live better is to just improve yourself.
Right.
So basically, I have a screaming fight with somebody. I think it came up because I remember I was at a jazz club in the city.
Yeah.
And I had an enormous, this is before I retired. I was going through, I think, the death of my father, like a lot of crazy shit was happening. And I had a huge meltdown because, like, I got heckled. Now,
Right.
when you get heckled at a jazz club, it's not very good because it was like some old guy. And I had a meltdown and I was like, get the F out. And, like, really, I could never go back there again. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. So 2 days later, when I sort of had my head around that, wow, I really effed up,
Right.
I did email the two guys in charge of the show. And I said, I can't apologize enough. There's nothing I would want to do less than hurt you two or your
Yeah.
business. And I'm sorry. And I never heard from them again. So I'm like, okay, so that's with me to live with now. So when people don't respond to that apology, you're left to just go, yeah, that did nobody any good. So what do I do? Well, hopefully go forward and not scream at somebody
Right.
in a jazz club or maybe anywhere else that it's inappropriate without becoming a doormat,
Right,
yeah.
So I don't know. I think part of me is like, when is it not ego based? And when is it ego based? And when should we actually do it? So I think that's what confuses me about apologies.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So you said you had both some instances where it's like, oh, I'm not gonna, go there.
Right.
Like I just can't apologize for that.
Right.
How do you make the determination if it's sort of overwhelmingly about ego
Yeah.
or if it's sort of, if it's really for them? How do you decide if it's for them?
I think you can't because you don't really know, especially for certain people. You're like, man, I don't know if what this person's even like now. I don't know like where
Yeah.
they're at, like what's going on. So I think for me, like the ones that I really didn't make were ones where it was like an old girlfriend that I had wronged,
Mm-hmm.
and there was almost no reason for me to be there other than like, oh, I'm trying to like rekindle something.
Right. So that's
yeah.
ego based or
Yeah.
motivated by the wrong thing.
Yeah, and I'm trying to clean it up for me, and to be honest, like she probably doesn't need my amends that bad.
But when is the apology? We're not talking about immediate apologies.
Yeah.
Like Nick said, he's pretty quick on going, hey, man, I'm sorry I
Right.
hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
You're really good at that, too.
Yeah.
So when we talk about these long-standing things from the past, when is it at all about them? There's so many examples in my life that I'm like, man, do I actually, yes, I probably owe them an apology, but this is about me trying to show I'm a better person. It's performative, I think. So I'm not saying all the time,
Yeah.
but I think of the people I can think of that I really fucked up with. And by the way, there's probably 8,000 more we've all fucked up with, but they never told us.
Right.
They just ghosted us or they just
Sure.
kind of put up with it. It's so hard to determine.
I don't think you can though. I don't think. I think that's kind of the point of it. Is like, I can't own your experience of the amends, right? Like I don't know how it's gonna affect you. I don't know whether or not you're gonna, like whether or not like you're gonna take it or will you like
Well,
like,
so
you could sit
why
down-
why did it not hit you well that your uncle said, yeah, that was a good apology? Like, why did that not hit you right?
Because I really didn't want to be humble in front of him.
So if there isn't that humility, then the apology is sort of wasted.
No, because I think you're in the space that you're in, and when you're ready to make it, and I think it was an important amends for me to make at that point, And I did act humble. It doesn't really matter what's in here. It matters that the fact that outside I acted humble, right? Like if I had gone, no, well, it was really funny, then I wasn't ready to make the amends. But the fact that I heard it, and even if you have the thought,
So even if it gave you a little twinge,
yeah,
then
like
it's still okay.
I can't wait for myself to be completely because
Yeah.
who knows, right?
Well, you know what you need? Some spiritual training from someone who uses mushrooms for their, just kidding. Private joke, but don't do mushrooms.
Stuffed mushrooms if you can find them.
Mushroom would be good. No, but I think a lot of it is that I had an amends given to me once, and I think the great way to do it is the girl said to me, I'd love to have coffee with you. So you know what's coming.
Right.
You know there's going to be an apology. So you can always say no.
Yeah.
So as the person who knew they were going to be getting an apology or an amends, I was like, oh, that's what's coming. And I'm up for that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good step is going, would you be up for talking about this right now?
Oh yeah, I always, whenever setting one up, I'll be like, hey, I'm part of a 12-step program. Part of that is I need to make amends, and I'd like to make amends with you. Would you have time to meet? And
Have you had people say no?
Oh yeah,
Really?
plenty.
All
like,
women?
mostly.
I figured.
But yeah, they're just like, no, I'm good. Like, thanks, but no. And you're like, okay, and that's fine.
Yeah,
Like,
so
you know-
I found it really good when she did the amends, honestly, because I did say yes. I was in a total place to hear it.
Yeah.
She took ownership of shit that I didn't even know was going on in her head.
Right.
And this might be a good point to say what makes a good apology, because we've all been on the receiving end of a very shitty apology.
Yeah.
Apologies that include the word but
Yeah.
and but you especially,
Ooh.
that's a shitty apology.
Yeah.
So Nick, let's illustrate a very shitty apology.
Go ahead, Nick.
You say I step on your foot. What happens then? What do you say?
You go, hey, you stepped on my foot.
I'm sorry, but you were in my way. Okay, that has a but and a you. So don't fucking do a but and a you.
Yeah.
It's blaming him. So don't even fucking say I'm sorry.
Right.
So basically, do it again. I step on your foot.
Lisa, you stepped on my foot.
Too bad. It's almost better.
That is
Too
I would
bad is
prefer-
almost better because
I would
you
prefer
own it.
that. I would prefer
Yeah.
that.
But I think the
Felt
right way
right.
to do it is like just, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But again, people constantly try to give the right kind of apology and usually fall short because they will put something in there to blame the other person for their actions.
Right. Well, they justify it in the second half.
Right. And I read this great book recently. Please get it. She has nothing to do with the show and is way wealthier than any of us will be. Kelly Corrigan wrote this book called Tell Me More, The 12 Hardest Things I'm Learning to Say. And one of them was, I was wrong.
Yeah.
And you guys are not old enough to remember this, but I've referenced this before. Fonzie on Happy Days used to never be able to say, I was wrong.
Yeah.
He'd literally go, I was, couldn't get the words out. And I'm like, okay, why is she saying I was wrong is so much better than I'm sorry? Because, first of all, because it's harder to say.
Yeah.
So it means so much when somebody says, I was wrong. I had an enormous fight with our previous producer. It was a day after Thanksgiving. He had, unfortunately, had some technical problems, and I screamed at him,
Yeah.
much like the jazz club scenario. So I literally was like, oh my God, I'm screaming at someone. And I called him, and this was before I even read that book. And I go, he goes, you shouldn't talk to me that way. I go, wait, I was wrong.
Yeah.
And I felt it was so fucking powerful because if somebody says they were wrong to me, I'm like, oh, all is forgiven because you actually get it versus I'm just saying I'm sorry as like
Yeah,
sort
yeah,
of a
yeah.
buzzword.
Right.
So I think the word by the difficult, it's also very humbling too because
Yeah.
that's saying directly like I fucked up.
Yeah.
But I think the problem is a lot of people are hesitant to say I was wrong because they think because they fucked up that they are a fuck up.
Right.
So we take on that there's something really wrong with us that we made a mistake. Dude, the three of us, everyone in this world is going to make a billion more mistakes before we're dead, but doesn't mean we're broken or damaged or fucked up. We're just fucking up and hopefully a little less every day. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah. No, yeah, it does make sense.
Day by day.
I think
You should apologize for that.
please do it.
Is it odd or is it God?
Yeah, I mean, I think, saying sorry is something that can really get out of control. Like
Yeah.
for me, I know, like I said, I'm sorry. When you say I'm sorry for something that you've done before,
Oh, it's just a dick
it's
move.
yeah,
Yeah, no.
yeah, because and the other person knows this means nothing.
You're not sorry.
Yeah, you're not sorry. You're not doing because that's truly it. It's like if I keep saying I'm sorry for the same shit over and over again, I don't think I'm wrong. And then
Right.
it's like, well, why are you even saying sorry? Just be an asshole. Like, you know what I mean?
It's
like,
all yeah. Just continue to be the asshole, and I'll kind of have to forgive you or
yourself
not.
out. Yeah,
I can walk away or I don't have to.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the whole idea of an I was wrong is really to take full fucking responsibility, because that's where you always see on TV shows where the guy's like rolling his eyes at a girl. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And women and men shouldn't just settle for the eye rolled I'm sorry, because it didn't mean shit.
Yeah.
But if you really, and also it shows what you fucked up with and why you fucked up and how you fucked up. So I got mad at you guys like 3 weeks ago when we were taping here because you all had a little joke at my expense. And you already know I have the thinnest skin in the world for the insult comic. And I was mad at you.
Yeah.
And I was just like, we got in the car. It was like a mom with her 2 fucking idiot kids who doesn't yell at them at the pool when they're roughhousing and running on the slippery deck, but gets them in the car and go, "No, you little motherfuckers, let me tell you something." So we get in the car.
I was ready too. I knew it was coming.
Yeah, no. I didn't even plan on saying this today, but it strikes me as you did the right thing. I go, listen, I don't know if you fucking remember who the fuck I am. I said, but I'm pretty fucking smart. So the fact that you guys are goofing on me with a mistake I made intentionally to get a laugh, never fucking again. Like, so that's how I get like that, right? Well, I think what was great about that was you both immediately were like, oh, I'm sorry. But I sort of got the impression you understood why I was pissed.
Right.
So I would have preferred an I was wrong.
Yeah.
But I think when you say I was wrong, I'm sorry, you really want the other person to go, like, don't just apologize, realize why I'm upset.
Right.
Which is where the admission of wrongness is a really good thing, because they could say, yeah, I was wrong because I did that thing that you don't like when ...
Right. Well, yeah, and it's letting them know that you're listening to them.
Right.
Right? Like, I'm hearing you. I know you well enough to understand exactly what I did.
Right.
Right? Like, instead of being just like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's like, well, you don't, you're not
I
listening.
still think Nick doesn't. I still don't think Nick really gets why I was that mad.
No, I knew it was coming.
I think, yeah. Yeah.
I think you're way off there. I literally,
shit.
as we were joking around, I knew the whole time. I go, we're gonna pay. We're
on borrowed time.
No, I fucking knew it. And I said to Bo after it happened, I go, I was ready for that. I was fully prepared.
Well, you know what was good was that if I had to ask you right now, I'm going to ask Bo.
Yeah.
What were you wrong in doing?
I was wrong in laughing about you to a third party.
Right.
In, like, almost behind your back, like you weren't even in the room.
Right. In a professional setting.
Yeah, in a professional setting. But in any setting, it's probably not.
It's probably fucked up.
Yeah.
Except at Duchess. We can do it there.
Yeah. So, but it is funny because people just have to say what they don't like, and then the person doesn't do it anymore if they have a brain in their head or they're a nice person.
Right. And anybody gets hey, you didn't, I fucked up or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, as long as it's not repeated offenses, I don't think it's, you know what I mean? Like, if somebody does that and then the next week they do the same thing and the next week.
Oh, then they're fucking fired and you do the podcast by yourself, Lisa.
Right. Right, but if you do it once and then you do it once again a year from now, it's like, all right, things happen.
Yeah, then you get in the car. It's a year from now. It's 2023, January. It's 20 degrees out. We get in the car and I said, I know you think a fucking year went by and I forgot that you guys fucking think you're smart and funny and could joke around with pool. Well,
it's a year from now.
Oh, God, if I'm still doing this podcast in a year, just fucking murder me.
Your contract says through 2023 with Losers of the Dream LLC.
Look, I apologize, but you were wrong. But don't you think, too, like, you're able to make a better apology once you've experienced what you've done to someone else. I'll give you an example. No one ever yells at me. My mother yelled at me, and that was pretty much it. Yeah. So I'm formidable. I get it. It's hard to yell at me. People don't have the nerve to do it.
Right.
Well, I got yelled at by somebody about 2 years ago, and suddenly everything like clicked into place in my head of like, oh my God, this is why some of the people I yelled at won't talk to me anymore because it felt horrible and violent and really just so hurtful and over the top. And I was like, wow, I now can make a more informed apology to these people I've yelled at because I get how horrible
How
it
it
was.
feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Because I never, it's like getting hit. You don't realize how I've never been hit, but I imagine
We'll see
it
how
really,
tonight goes.
Yeah. I imagine it really hurts, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Well, there's a lot of
like, you know how I hit Nick in the head
yeah.
with the slap? I don't
Feels
know if
good.
that hurts or not.
No.
So I would have to get slapped in the head. I don't want you to slap me in the head. But once I have experienced that shit, I can be more aware of like, wow, I'm so sorry I did that to you. I was wrong for breaching that boundary.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Well, understanding what happened and what the experience was for that person.
For that, but that's
makes
so
it
hard
easier.
because suppose you did rob a bank, not
Yeah.
a bank, robbed your friend of his iPod Shuffle back in the
Sure,
day.
that's what I did.
And you did?
I stole people's
Oh,
stuff.
shit.
Sold
I
it.
have no
Piece of shit.
respect left for you.
Yeah.
No,
was
but
honest about
have
that.
you ever? No, have you ever been robbed from?
Yeah, your buddy
If you don't-
stole your phone.
Yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah, I
So
remember that story.
did you have a more innate understanding how much that must have sucked for him?
Yeah, and it really wasn't the loss of the thing. It was the disrespect of the friend.
Right.
It was the like, I guess he didn't care.
Right.
That I would feel like this.
Right.
You know? So yeah. I definitely got it. I think it made it easier to do those amends and easier to cough up the dough, yo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's tough to like put yourself in their shoes all the time, and sometimes it's just like, well, I know it's wrong, so I gotta say sorry. I gotta
Right.
make the amends.
So how would you go about advising the audience and myself? So we don't have to do a lot of graveside amends because that's fucking sounds like a blast. That should be our Patreon.
I think it could be-
I think it's very healthy.
Yeah.
But I think it would be really great for Patreon to film Nick crying at the grave of old Granny.
Yeah.
I don't know, Nick. For 500, I think you do it.
Yeah.
Well, you have acting training now. You can just
Yeah,
go
I'm an
and
actor
pretend
now.
to cry.
I'm an actor.
No, but
Sean,
like,
pen it up.
Yeah.
how do I decide if it's worth broaching things with people? I think it's worth it if probably first of all you go, is this just to show them I'm better now?
Yeah.
That's a big no.
Usually, yeah.
How does an apology help someone? It helps them feel seen and heard and
Right.
empathized with, correct?
Yeah, and sometimes it's just like to close a loose end. Like if they never understood why something happened,
Right.
you know, it's like sometimes it can be informative like that, where it's like, you know, I did this to this person and they still have no idea why or what happened or what the situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So they're like,
So-
whoa, what happened there, man?
Right.
Why'd
Like
you-"
they were just totally left in the dark about a thing that kind of affected their life.
So if I ghosted someone during the pandemic, a friend, and they're probably left wondering, like, what the fuck happened to this
Yeah.
bitch? It was probably worth reaching out in some way, unless it would harm them.
Right.
Also, do I want to be friends with them? No.
Then
So
don't.
that's the problem, because you're kind of opening the door to be like, I dumped you because you're a clam
Right.
who drinks.
Yeah.
I'm
Well, then what were you really
sorry.
wrong about?
I was
Let's-
wrong to not explain this to you when you were sober
Kill
and
her.
and end the relationship as nicely as it started.
Right. Yeah, then it comes down to like, does it need to be said?
No, because
Probably not.
she would then maybe get her hopes up that she'd get to be friends with LL again.
Yeah.
That's a gift that keeps on giving.
Listen, you're not allowed back in the club, all right?
Yeah, dude, we're in now. So.
But it is interesting. I think the best kind of apology, but it's so hard not to want to explain why you did it,
Yeah.
is I had a fucking horrible fit and yelled at someone. Now I realize how bad it must have felt since I've been yelled at. And I would love to say to them, when I did that to you, I was wrong and I'm so sorry, because having just experienced that must have been terrible for you.
Yeah.
And I'm very sorry. I was wrong. But then I want them to ask me, well, were you going through anything at the time? And then I'd be like, oh my God, I was in grief over my father. You know what I mean? So in other words, if they ask though, if you go into a subsequent discussion and they do say, hey, what was going on with you? Because the chick who gave an amends to me, I said to her, because we started chatting and I do like her and I'm friends with her now. I said, yeah, what was going on?
Yeah.
And then she was able to explain where her head was at. And I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but I would have to wait for them to ask, correct?
Yeah. You don't want to offer up an explanation.
That's a button of you.
Yeah. Because then you're going, well, so this is why I did it, and this is how I was totally,
I was
justified.
Wrong. Yeah. You're justifying it.
Yeah.
Oh God. Well, I think the big takeaways are
subscribe to Patreon.
No, shut up. I apologize for cutting you off, but I don't. I have no reason to plug this book except that it's so good. Read the chapter. Kelly Corrigan's book, Tell Me More. The way she puts about apologies and just being contrite and really letting people know that it was all wrong for you to do that. Read that book. She says, take full responsibility, name the transgression. So, Bo, what did you do to me that I didn't like? You.
I spoke behind your back.
And that contrition should be felt and deeply conveyed. And I see you are very contrite about it. There's
what do those words mean?
Oh, sad. But honestly, I think we just got to, it's going to be case by case deciding if we have to do it and when and how.
Yeah. I mean, every single time I made an amends, it was like, I specifically have to go over the way I'm going to say it, the tone I'm going to use, because it comes down to everything. Like, it's not just, you could say something, you could say all the right words, but you're saying it like, yes,
I'm like really sorry I burned your house down, Uncle Chap.
Whoops. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry I stole your fucking iPad shuffle, you fucking queer.
I blew your friend. So what?
Yeah. Like, it's everything. It's like you really have to, and I hate using the white girl soft voice, but you almost have to do
like
a little.
It.
No, white girls are the worst.
So, what I said was that I didn't really like you in front of all those other people, and I made you feel bad.
I mean, there's definitely only one actor in this group right now. And Nick, I'm going to have to put my money on you for Departed 57.
Yeah.
Departed 2.
The WAP story.
The winning WAP story.
Oh, my God. So we apologize. We went over time, but we're not sorry. We're what the kids today say, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
We went slightly over time, but it was worth it because you all should be sorry that you're not on our Patreon. So
yeah, callback, baby. Yeah. She's a pro, dude.
You guys. I love us. See you next week. Losers with a Dream. We're going to fist ya. Hey, thanks for listening to Losers with a Dream. We'll see you next week when you got more time to kill. Fucking hate these guys.